Hello, I'm Nathaniel, and here for another video of our preaching sessions. As you can see, it's a little bit dark around me, so I got a flashlight there for the glare. But today I wanted to minister on losses. It doesn't sound nice, but after you're done with this, it'll be nice. After you're done hearing about this, you'll see that it is okay, that there's less to feel like you've lost when you lose a loved one. So, some of you might have lost family, some of you might have lost a close friend, or close family member. But I want to tell you something. So, first off, if they were a Christian, they're going to, and they believe that they go to heaven, and they did the redemption prayer, where they say that they believe that Jesus died on the cross for our sins. Then they would have gone to heaven, and there's no need to cry about it. I mean, yes, it is sad. But after most of the grief has passed, you can realize that there was really no reason to cry over it. To cry over a loss of a loved one. Because, first, if they were older, they're feeling, or they were sick or something like that, they're feeling way better in heaven. They're feeling the best they've ever felt in their entire life. They're feeling better than any in their entire life here on earth. But you don't need to cry about it, because they're in a better place. And I know people say that, and you're like, they're in a better place. You're like, oh, they're in a better place. Well, because so many people say that, I feel like when someone says, oh, they're in a better place, it's okay. They're in a better place now. Most people are like, oh yeah. They just breathe. It comes at them, and they just dust it off like it's nothing. They don't even absorb it, because so many people may say that, and it doesn't really sink in. It doesn't really sink in that, yes, they're in a better place. But they are in a better place, because heaven is better than anywhere on earth. It has golden streets. If they were sick, they're feeling way better. If they had any disabilities, they don't have any in heaven anymore. And in heaven, you can actually go. You can go anywhere you want, just by closing your eyes, believing that you'll go somewhere, and you'll be there in heaven. And then, because you don't have a heart and a brain in heaven, because those are physical organs, and there's no way to die in heaven. You have, instead of a brain, you have your mind, which is what your brain expresses. But you can breathe. You can breathe underwater, spend as much time underwater as you like. It's always a perfect weather. You can have, you get a house when you're in heaven. So, you need not, to cry about, loss of a loved one, or a close family member. I mean, that is a loved one. But I do know that, whenever you lose a loved one, there's always a spiritual breakthrough that happens. Whenever you lose someone close, a close family member, or maybe a close friend, there's always going to be a spiritual outcome. If you allow the Lord to come into your life, there's going to be a spiritual outcome. For me, so you see, in 2019, I lost my dad. He was taking medications for his back. He had a tube he had a 3D printed tube on his spine because his spine grew crooked, and it grew in like an S shape, and it would always irritate a muscle, and it would make him throw up all the time. He tried to take medicine to make him feel better, but after a little bit, after the effects wore off, it would make it worse. But he ended up, the Lord told him to get off the medication through my mom, but my mom and my dad both didn't realize that. About 2 years earlier, up until that point, my mom told my dad that he should get off the medication, that she thinks it's doing more harm than good. And that was what the Lord was saying through her, but neither of them realized that. Neither of them realized that it was through the Lord. And if my dad realized it was through the Lord, he would have stopped taking the medication. But he died because of the medication. And not the easiest thing to talk about. But he died because of the medication, and I had a spiritual breakthrough, and that's what put me here. So what happened was, I had a spiritual breakthrough. I started tapping into seeing in the spirit. I started being able to see angels, and then I started being able to see heaven. And but I stopped seeing angels after that day, because after that day I had the devil was trying to mess with my mind, and I kept imagining that there were these demons coming onto the property, and I had these swords, and I'd throw it at them, and they'd either die, or they would become a angel and then die fighting another demon. And I prayed protection over our home in the morning, or the last night, and then I saw like a blue force field, and then and this is how the demon was messing with my mind again. This is not actually what I saw, but he was messing with my mind, and I saw demons jarring open this protection field, and I had to keep throwing swords at them to kill them. So I stopped seeing angels after that, because I didn't want the weird daydreams to happen again, because they weren't nice, okay. And then I saw heaven once. I went there a second time, but I got pulled out of it. I went there for a minute, and I got pulled out of it. And some people think that, like, meditation, well, it's for other cultures. It's like, some people think that, like, meditating is bad, because usually other cultures, other religion will meditate on, they'll meditate as a normal part of themselves. They'll meditate as a normal part of their religion. They'll, like, meditate and give, they'll just meditate. And, it doesn't sound good, but what meditation really is, it's not sitting with your legs crisscross and your hands up like this or anything. What meditating really is, it's just sitting down or standing up, and just usually sitting down though, and just sitting down, closing your eyes, thinking, and not thinking, but quieting your mind, and just not doing anything, really. Just sitting there, not doing anything. And that's the how I got into heaven, if you believe the sorts like that. But but that's how I sat down, and you have to believe. Like, if you saw my last video, which was about faith, You have to believe, and that's the same with seeing in the spirit and going into heaven. If you believe in that, if you can believe a regular person can do that sort of thing. But that and it's just sitting down, being quiet, quieting your mind, just believing that you'll be able to go to heaven or see in the spirit. Now, seeing in the spirit is when you go to heaven too. When you go to heaven, you see in the spirit because your spirit travels to heaven, your body stays put on the ground, and it's not like your body stops living. Okay, that's what you need to understand about this. It's not my spirit leaves my body dies. That's not what it is. That's only when your body gets too old and dies, or gets poisoned or killed, sorry. Gets poisoned or hurt or bleeds to. If you've lost a loved one, I'm sorry I'm talking about all this. If you're watching this, you probably will be. But maybe, I don't know. I don't know your situation exactly. But when your spirit leaves your body's still alive. It's still pumping and moving. Just you're not. Your spirit is just separate from it. It's not like a. So if you're still in if you believe you can go to heaven, your spirit goes into heaven. Your brain still works, your heart still works, your lungs still work, you're still breathing, blood's still pumping and moving. But your mind is absent from the body. For the thinking. It's hard to describe. But your spirit is you, so you are in heaven, but your soul and your body are still down here on earth. It's really hard to describe, but what I'm telling you all this about is to understand is that when your spirit is absent from your body does not die. Okay? That's only when someone goes to heaven because their body was too old or something happened to their body and it died. Okay. So you can go into the spirit, and another thing is to see angels. You just believe that you can see angels, and then either you can do it with your eyes closed or your eyes open. I find it easier with my eyes open to see angels and go to heaven and see heaven. But to see angels, you believe you can see angels, and then you'll see that you have a guardian angel with you. And whenever you feel lonely, if you can look into the spirit, if you believe in that kind of thing, if you can look into the spirit and sorry, there's a weird light in the background. I'm not sure what it was. Sorry. But if you look to your side or in front of you or somewhere around you, each person has a guardian angel assigned with them to keep them safe. If they allow the Lord's presence to be with them. But that's going to be like a spiritual breakthrough. And you're going to keep having that breakthrough. Well, if you're wondering why have I only started my preaching videos this year, 2023, and my dad passed in 2019. Well, devil told me lies. I believed them not knowing that it was him. And I got hooked on it. It wasn't drugs or alcohol. It was just and it took me a far step away from the Lord. It took me a far step away. But I've been working myself up, building my faith back up to do these videos. And when I do these videos, if you believe in that a person can connect with God, I connect with God because I don't know what I'm going to say next. So it's like the Lord ministering through me. That's what it really is. I just speak it, and I can change and I just I might say like something like that, because he didn't tell me to say that. Just I'm trying to keep that connection open to hear what he's saying. But the point here is that when you lose a loved one, there's going to be a spiritual outcome coming through. In some part of your life, it's either going to be you or someone else that's going to probably influence your life a little bit. And it can grow your faith. But that's one thing. That's what I was saying. That one thing that makes someone else dying maybe a little bit less hard. That they're in heaven, they're in a better place, even though everyone says that they are. Like I described, they have a house, they're happy there, they're not hurting. But also, when I said that he died of medications, that don't be discouraged from taking medications. That, a few years later, 2 or 3 years later, that company got sued because their medications were known for they were known for killing people, what's it called, like hooking people on it, like, I don't remember what it's called, I'm sorry, but, like hooking people on it, I don't remember what it is, but, it's hooking people on it, as in they keep having it. Their body just needs more and more and more. That's it's addiction. Addiction. That's what it is. It's addiction. It was known for killing an addiction, and it got ultimately shut down. So don't be discouraged from taking medications, okay? That's what I want you to know, because I don't want you to be discouraged from taking medications, because sometimes you do need the medications. Alright? The reason I don't say it always is because sometimes if you get like if you have a headache, you don't need to take medication for that. If you lie down and nap, drink some water, and if it's like back of your head, keep your head up or straight, because that'll trigger throwing up eventually. It'll get your stomach hurting, and then it'll get your head hurting, and then your stomach will hurting, and all of a sudden you'll feel like you throw up. But you don't technically need it in that situation. You can handle it with. You should be able to handle it without, but it is okay to take it. Okay, it's okay. And I'm not trying to put any bad thing on, like, medications or doctors, because they're good. Both of those things are good. The doctors are the reason that my dad stayed alive for so long. And the Lord. I believe the Lord did have an influence in that. But I'm not trying to put a rock on any doctors or any medications. I'm not trying to put a rock on top of them and try to discourage you from taking them. Or using doctors, taking medicine. You still need to use it. You still should use them both, and you still need to use them both sometimes. But my point on this video is that when a loved one dies, they are actually in a better place. They'll have their own house. They'll have beach access. They'll have access to everything, and time is different there, so they won't be as old as they were. Their body might, but they aren't. Their spirit isn't, because time's weird in heaven. Well, not weird, but time's different in heaven. So they could be like a kid, or a teenager, or an adult in heaven. It depends when you go up there, but what you see when you go up there, I think. Again, I don't have everything on it. Well, I didn't say that yet, but I don't have anything on it. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm messing up the words here. I know some on it. I don't know everything, because no human being can know everything, except for, give the exception, Jesus. He was a human, just so you know. He came in the human form, and I can talk about that more in a different video. But whenever you have a loss, there's going to be a spiritual breakthrough, and someone around you that knew that person, or yourself. And also, I should warn you, when that happens, the devil is going to see it, and he is going to want to take that away from you. So you need to watch out, because he will give you a thought, and if you don't rebuke that thought, and you entertain it, you keep thinking on it, he's going to give you more and more thoughts. It's going to get worse and worse and worse, and eventually, if you do not stop it, you will wake up one day and you'll have gone, what's happened with my life? Because what he does sucks. It sucks. It sounds good, but what happens is, what sounds good isn't always what's good. It's like I'm gonna bring it back to medications. Are you going to take like cough drops? They used to have like these candy cough drops, and they did worse than sorry, my light got a little bit dimmer. But they did worse. They worsened your throat. They were like candy cough drops because of how much sugar was in them. They did worse than the actual regular sugar itself. I mean, than the regular cough drops. It's like that. Do you want to take this sugary cough drop, what the devil's offering you? You're gonna have it. It's gonna taste good, but your throat's gonna make your throat worse, way badder than it already was. Or are you going to take this cough drop from the Lord? Are you going to take this cough drop from the Lord, and he will it might taste a little bit bad, but it'll make your throat better. That's what it's like. And so my goal on this video is that you know that your loved one is in a better place, that there will soon be spiritual outcome in your life. Just don't let the devil stop you. Alright, well, that's been my preaching this has been my preaching session, and I hope you enjoyed it, and you will continue on a seeking for the Lord. Alright, I'm Nathaniel, and bye.